Gentlemen, welcome on our podcast, Pit to Palace. Your host one more time, Jabufa Bude. I have another gentleman, a very own son of the soil, Mthobisi CJ Nthlenyama, Mthobisi. Welcome, my brother.
Welcome, sir.
How you doing, boss? All is well, all is well. So just like we always kick our show, we kickstart our show by saying, give us a short brief of who you are. Tell the Mthobisans, tell the world, who is CJ?
Oh, basically, Jay, CJ, every standard coding from Mdala. I started doing a t-shirt, then from there I grew to Nhlenyama suit. But I started like around 2005.
Yeah.
And obviously the market expects growth out of the company. Then I decided to grow further in my business.
So where you from? Let's start there. We want to know from the youth coming up to all the way up to Mthobisi. Where's CJ born? Give us the short background.
I would say my life is here at Mthobisi.
Okay.
That's why I kind of grown in a matured manner. I was born in Ngwavuma in Natal.
Ngwavuma. Is that on the boundary between Swaziland and KZN?
Yeah, that's where it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So then obviously my dad then I ended up going to school in Ghana.
Okay.
And from there, when I finished school, my matric in 2000, I chose. So it's been almost 20. It's actually 20 years.
Is it? So how did you come to Joburg? You were brought by the hustle.
I know. So I had to migrate and come here and start a life on my own as a man.
Okay. So were you working?
No, when I came up, I was studying actually.
Okay.
I came up obviously wanting to do what anybody as parents would want them to is have some sort of a background experience in terms of education. So I was studying at Kempton College, and then from there I didn't like what I was doing because I was too young.
Okay.
So I was kind of...
So did someone choose the course for you?
No, it was me, but I think when you're mature, you don't really get the hang of when you're young. So I was a bit confused there and there, and then I finally found my path in IT industry. Then I studied IT. Then I got my certificate in IT. Then I got a job. I was working since then up until 2012.
Corporate?
Corporate business till 2012. Then actually 2011. But on the side, I was doing those t-shirt business because I always have that background. You went in business in my life.
Okay, all right.
So I've been my t-shirt started running business.
The caps and all that.
Then from there, I wanted to study film.
Okay.
And I did a little bit of film, so I'm a finances because I was paying myself. I was paying for myself.
Yourself,
because I was hustling. Things didn't work out so well. And I was kind of pushed into this business to do it full time because it's very scarce to spend these days. So I realized that instead of me sitting back and not...
But you were already working. You were on IT. You had your t-shirt so-called company or t-shirt hustle doing caps on the streets.
Yeah.
So you were coining twice.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see, if you live, why didn't me to do it full time? Because there was no part-time. So I had to sacrifice the IT to do the film.
So you went to filming school full time. And then you looked into the t-shirt to support the schooling.
To support the schooling. But things didn't work out so well. And I had a gap here. In the IT industry, when you have a gap,
you lost.
The technology happens
every day.
So I had to make means from there because now the business wasn't doing so well because that was my only source of income. So the time was time consuming with the school. So I had to fall back and continue with the business while I was looking for a job at that time.
Okay.
So it went on.
So now you were pushed into the hustling.
I was pushed into the
hustling.
Yeah.
So basically by the consequences and the circumstances. So now, as far as I know you came up with a company called CJ Colorblind. Yeah, so that's how I know the t-shirts and the caps.
Yeah, it's actually a funny name from Mikasi because we have the Kasi about the man who like HOS, like Hongo Mundu, we are colorblind.
Oh, you mean colorblind? We are color.
So I wanted to actually associate it in a slow and then I then colorblind in a slow. So Hongo Mundu is a color.
color kabuhlungu. So it's not what kind of like.
It's what it is. They're busy by color.
Oh, color blind.
So that's how it grew from a location. Then I pushed it that way. Then
how do you define the CJ behind it?
The CJ is actually my name. So I wanted it to have some sort of a sentimental value.
Okay.
So that's why I edited. It's okay. It's done by this, but I have to put it in one line and make it CJ color blind clothing.
Wow, man, so that's so creative right there.
So yeah, it was kind of a stretch. I always knew though that I wanted to be in business because I didn't believe in a 9 to 5, but you know, with respect, the millions in my parents they expect you to do, but as you grow, you make your own choices.
Of course.
With respect, not without respect, but with respect, you have to make your choices and then kind of get out of your cocoon and then actually doing something for yourself, but it's never easy.
I always say good ideas are born out of pressure, not from comfort. Until you jump from your comfort zone, you can never get a good idea going.
Yeah, let me tell you another story. You see, as I was breaking out from the film school and the t-shirt business wasn't doing well, and I was also looking for jobs, and you know this industry is very difficult to find a job. Then I realized, I'm busy pushing this t-shirt thing and it's not working out. What else can I add on something that is working out but it's a low?
So would you say the t-shirt was not pushing?
It was, but
obviously, so not according to what you wanted at the time.
Okay,
all right.
So
because I saw you selling, man. I saw you selling.
It was actually doing well. But anyway, in any business, how many people can wear t-shirt? How many t-shirts can you have of the same brand? You understand? You need a variety. You need to actually take care of your clients.
I hear you.
So then I started doing I had guys at Baspana, so I learned from them how to sew. I never went to school for this. So I learned from them.
So now, before you go ahead, we're still on the t-shirt business. So now I want the transition from t-shirts to this. Now we're talking suits, gentlemen. So we're no longer caps and t-shirts anymore. Now we are suits and shirts.
No, actually, the transition, there's something that is missing there.
Okay.
I actually was motivated by schools. They actually approached me and say, can you do something for us?
Cool.
Yeah. So I started
that to us.
I started supplying schools. The school supply
with what? T-shirts,
jackets, and golf shirts.
Okay.
So I started hustling and finding my way to supply in bulk and whatnot.
Okay.
So I push and and then from there, obviously, it's a seasonal business.
Of course.
I had to kill the dry seasons.
Of course.
Then that's when I realized, I need to put something in my business, otherwise I'm gonna sink. Then
so that is day to day, bread and butter.
Yeah. So as you grow up, I don't think there's a trainee that can actually think about suits these days.
No.
So as young as I was, my suit wasn't there. So it goes with my
and suits, what you have done with your brand right now, you have taken suits into a day-to-day lifestyle. So it's no longer something that you have to wait for an event or something. You have all types of suits that you can wear, hardcore, whatever event, or even casual suits.
For sure. So what I'm trying to do is bring the comfort in the world of suits. Or dressing smart. Understand? Like right now I'm wearing sneakers and a suit. So anybody can rock that. You don't have to be in a tie. And people they thinking they still have this concept of Mthobisi Nthlenyama.
Okay.
It's just like a cheat.
So it's a day-to-day style.
It's expensive to make a suit, but obviously it doesn't.
It's up your game.
It's a lifestyle.
It's up your game.
It's a lifestyle.
Wow, man.
It's a lifestyle.
Wow. Yeah. So now tell me, who inspires you? Where do you get the inspiration to do what you do?
Hey man, the inspiration. It's actually a background story of mine. Where I grew up, my mom. We didn't have anything. We didn't have much. We weren't rich. So my mom used to tell me this concept to whatever you wear, it doesn't matter how many times you wear as long as it's clean. So when I grew, I realized I actually want to make clothes for myself. And I used to play with necklaces. My granny used to do that as well. So I used to watch that. My mom was a teacher. She never stopped teaching from school. She actually teaches at home as well. So every So I realized that as I grow up, I'm going to make myself clothes. So for me now, I always working on the next big thing. So the t-shirt growing to this, it was something that I want to build it slowly but slowly. Then somebody can actually get inspired from there. So the inspiration had come from home. I can put it like that.
So the business started was born out of poverty.
It was born out of poverty.
So because you just didn't have enough to go and buy, so you had to do something for yourself.
For myself.
And then the business just grew from there.
Just grew from there. Because there's certain things that I would wear and people say, we told out like that. You understand? So they give you, a business idea is something that they give you daily, but you don't pay attention of course. So you feel it.
The inspiration is all around you.
It's all the time. It's all around you. So then I had a great mentor, and I had people around me that kind of inspired me. They gave me more inspiration, more fire to the inspiration.
All right.
That I was doing. Then I grew from there. Then it came out very well. So I'm just working on making people comfortable in suits on a daily lifestyle.
Now tell me about your market. Where your suits, which market are you focusing on? Are they for every man on the street, or you've got a particular market?
With me, I'm not very choosy because I find it very hypocritical if you're going to judge people by their weight or the way they look to make clothes for them.
Okay.
And at the same time, for me, it's a level of growth. It shows maturity and accepting people. It's not that into tiny mad but it gives you challenge because it's something that you think you are doing right with the person who have already a well-structured body, but you can find yourself you can learn a lot from other people.
But wouldn't you say that the price that you're putting on your labels, it separates?
Yeah, it does separate. Obviously, the cost price are affected by the design and the type of fabrics that the client would choose. So what I would say, my market, it comes from, obviously, it depends on what we get on to daily. So I would say mostly of my market is something that is very influential. So I do a lot of marketing on social medias. That's where my
bulk of your business
is coming from. So when it comes to marketing, that's when I put my money on in trying to show people what we do. Obviously, you need to be visible into the world in order for you to know who you are. So I'm trying all the way, all kind of streams of marketing to get business all around, so that you kill those dry seasons. Because if you're gonna say I'm doing suits and dresses for weddings or then those are seasonal. You're not in business. So I'm trying everything that I can, even car branding, posters.
So, but now, what do you say to people who say no? Ghost Design has become a celebrity label, because we always see it on Instagram. We always see it with big name people.
Yeah, you see.
What do you say to that?
One thing I've noticed about that, it's a good thing that you brought that up. The fear of finding out the price.
Okay.
You're thinking something is
because someone well known is wearing the brand.
Then when you come through, then you actually find out
this thing is wearable.
I was just scared.
The price is good.
And some of my clients, they will come and they're thinking, hey man, I'm never going to look good in suits. Work it out. Give me time, I'm going to put the work in. Give me time, I'll put the work in. And then at the end of the day, we're going to get it right. I always tell them, you're not going to get up of the door unless I'm happy.
So what do? Do you put the fabric on the man, or you put the man on the fabric?
I kind of do both.
Because maybe that's where the fear is. Someone looks at the suit and thinking, I'm not going to look well on that. So now you have to find a way of designing a suit that fits them.
Obviously, we look at things like color tones. Obviously, one thing that people don't notice, the hairstyle actually counts on what you're wearing, and your skin color tones actually works. Actually, the way your body is posture, that also counts a lot. So you have to play around with that, and you work with the person. Because some of the people that they come through, they just want to look good. And the other people that they will come with an Instagram model picture and say, do that. Then we have to advise.
And then you tell them, but this is not you.
This is not for you. But in the most polite way, because people get offended very quick. With you're thinking I'm not worthy of this. But obviously, when you tell somebody that this is not good, you have to show them what is good for them.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as a person is willing to work with you and you're willing to work vice versa, I think
it works both ways.
Yeah, you always achieve. It's a two-way relationship.
All right.
So it's a give and take. Just because you pay, it doesn't mean that you have to fold your arms, because we work together. Basically, that's what I do with my clients. I love the relationship that we have.
Okay.
So we work together up until we get it right together.
Yeah.
So
right.
I have the patience. As long as you have the patience, we'll get it right together.
But now you've changed CJ Colorblind, the company, the brand.
Yeah.
And then now you go by Ghost Designs.
Yeah, the change.
Just tell us about the change.
Yeah.
It's the same person.
Yeah, it's the same person. The change in there, I thought it was the Ghost Designs was mostly of a persona. So people kind of had a relation. It's like having McDonald's and having a different meal. And give it a name. That's what I was trying to do.
Also, you were branding.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying, Ghost Design is under CJ Colorblind.
Oh, okay. But now, as we grow further, I think you're gonna see this on social media, Jay. Now, as we grow further, I want to take it to a more mature level. So I'm going to change the whole thing of CJ Colorblind.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought me on this show so I can clear that up.
Okay.
I'm going to change the whole thing of CJ Colorblind, because I feel as if it has a clause in it. There's a lot that we can do. A gas in mind. As the business grows, and there are people that want to be mentored on a lot of things other than just clothing side.
Okay.
So there's a lot of businesses that we can also venture in. So I find as if the clothing part of it kind of it compresses the knowledge.
It limits
your creativity. Because if somebody sees it and you want to do something and you are good at whatever they want to put you on, but now they're looking at it, it's only specializing in this. So I actually got inspired by, I was watching this series, and then there was a lady that had my grandma's name, so I actually forgotten it. As in, this is so sentimental to me, and I had a clue there. I had an idea that I was forgetting my granny's memory. So the next company that I'm going to name it, it's actually in the process.
Okay, so you're changing company names.
Yeah, I'm changing company names.
But it's still the same. Same design, same everything. So what is it called? What's the next name?
I'm going to call it Nhlenyama. That's my company.
Nhlenyama.
It's Nhlenyama Industries.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to call it.
So you're giving props to your grandma.
To my grandma, because that lady taught me a lot of things.
Wow, that's a beautiful name too. Looking forward to Nhlenyama Industries.
Yeah.
So now under Nhlenyama Industries, are we going to see just modern fashion?
Not really. Okay, this is the goal. You see, they always say in business, if you don't, you define your own success. Meaning, you're gonna do so much, but as long as you don't know what are you reaching for, you never realize what your success
is. The limit.
Understand?
Yes.
So, what my goal is to open more streams of jobs. I
like that, man.
So I wanna do an in-house sort of. That's my goal with the clothing business. I wanna do the in-house overall thing. You get the fabric there, we're making it upstairs. You get anything.
So you have somebody doing the design.
You're doing the design.
You have a specialist on fabrics.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I want to have fabrics in-house. You come in.
The guys on the machines.
Right there.
And then the production at the end.
Exactly.
You come, you wear your suit as hot as it is.
As hot as it is. That's my ultimate goal. I want somebody say, hey man, I'm going somewhere tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay, come through.
Yeah.
Then you come.
Do you have an hour?
Yeah,
that's all you need.
That's all you need. So that's what I'm going for. Because I believe the quicker you can do something in the most palatable way, that's the best way you can market yourself. Because now what we're chasing against, people don't notice is time. Business is time. So
business is time. It's not money.
Yeah, I figured that if I can push time in a nice quality manner, then we can go far.
So now creating something like this, since we have this gentleman standing next to us here, so creating something like this, just give me a pretty good idea. How much money are we expecting for those who says, wow, this gentleman is doing a beautiful work. Okay. Just give us an estimate.
First of all, I'm going to explain who's this.
Yeah, explain this.
This is my best friend.
Your best friend.
I call this my signature suit. Those who know better, I do a lot of straps for myself, so this is my signature suit. Well, like we have mentioned too, it doesn't. Okay, with quality, it takes a little bit of time to make a suit, but you look at the things like your color tone, like we mentioned before.
Yes, sir.
And then it will also depend on the fabric itself, the price.
Yes, sir.
How much is the fabric price, and then we charge according to that. And then also the size of a person. I don't mean to offend anyone. There's a standard price.
How much fabric you are using on an individual?
It only makes sense because I think everybody's
so that differs the price.
It differs the price because you have to buy more.
So the smaller the guy, the less fabric you use on him.
The less fabric, so you will sit on the standard pricing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And as well as it also works with express.
So it's not one price per suit.
No, it's not one price per suit.
All right.
So it differs. You can find out what size you are. You can come to me and then I'll charge you a certain price. Then a guy comes like maybe so then the price differs like but change.
You charge so much for that guy.
So you have to sit down and explain to them. You understand?
I hear you, man.
So this suit on its own, it was going for 4-5 stripes. But obviously my two-piece suits, they start from 3-5. So this one, because of the fabric and the texture and the color coding on the texture, so it's more advanced and it's more expensive.
So now when I order a suit from you, well, looking at this, do I choose my own button designs?
Of course. For example, if you come in and you already have a clue. Most people, let me paint you a picture. Most people when they come through, they already so they come to me as a profession. Then we have to sit down and say, okay, like what I mentioned before, that this won't look good on you. I think this will look good on you. But then maybe the design is fine. Maybe the color of the fabric is not fine. Then we'll discuss that. I'll try to explain to them. There's some people that are very confident, they'll say, no, let's go for it. I like it the way it is. Then you'll have to go with it. But it's always advisable to advise somebody because at the end of the day, as much as you're doing stuff for them and you're actually making an income out of it, you have to advise them and give them an honest opinion because they represent you when they go out. Because they're going to ask them, who did this?
Who did this?
And then you find people on Twitter, they're posting and saying, look at who did this, and they put a picture, this is what he wanted, this is what he got. You understand? So they're making fun of that. It actually damages your image.
The brand
itself. So
but when it's good, they must also give you props. Just say this ghost design did this. So now, you mentioned something earlier on that sometimes you have weddings, but they are seasonal. So, but that's still your business,
that's
right?
Still the business.
So now, when someone is getting married, they're bringing in a number of gentlemen and a number of ladies. And do you build up like a package price for them?
Yeah, of course. I build up a package price for them because they're coming in one.
In bulk.
And it also helps wherever we buy fabric because it's cheaper because we buy in bulk as well.
Another question before you go ahead. You don't have a problem with meeting the deadline because the deadline is very important with the wedding.
What I normally do, I'm actually an honest man. If I can't do something, I tell you straight out.
Okay. All right.
The only thing is with people, it's time, like I mentioned before. So if you come to me and you're saying I want this in a number of days, and I can see this is not the usual time that I take to make this then what I'll require from you is an interaction. You must come on time when I call you for fittings because I know exactly that if you come today, tomorrow you can collect. If I have an issue, I have a day to rectify or whatever the case may be that I need to do.
So now speaking to the people directly, how much time do you need, a minimum, how much time minimum do you need to prepare a wedding or clothing for the wedding?
Let's say, to be honest with you, I'm very quick. I'm very quick. I don't like sitting or babysitting on work. I don't like stuff sitting in my office. So basically, let's say you are getting married and you have 4 groomsmen. And then you have obviously 4 bridesmaids and the wife to be. So that makes it
10 items.
It's 10. Oh yeah. 10
including the bride and the groom.
So there's 10 people. So with those 10 people, it can take me 2 weeks to do those.
Wow.
So in 2 weeks time, we come for fitting. First fitting, we adjust it. Obviously, you know your body because it's on you.
Of course.
So we're going to interact as well on how it's sitting on you. If you're not happy there, we'll make those necessary adjustments.
Of course.
So within 2 weeks and a half, I can make deliveries.
So you're saying the final material for me to be able to stand there on the altar will be 2 weeks.
Will be 2 to 3 weeks.
With my boys and the lady with her girl.
2 to 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks the most. You heard it from CJ Colorblind. You heard it, Ghost Design, 3 weeks, it covers you. Is that what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
people must know.
I got proof.
People must know.
I got proof. Like this.
And then we don't want issues that you said this on Jabu's show.
No.
You went and then now I gave you a month, you can't deliver.
I met Shinza on Sunday. He wanted a suit for Somizi's wedding.
Okay.
That was Sunday.
The wedding is on Thursday.
The wedding was on Thursday. I made it within 24 hours on Tuesday. It was collected. That's one suit.
Wow.
You understand?
Wow.
So
you took measurements on Sunday.
I took measurements on Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
So Monday you started working on the material.
I didn't even start working on Monday.
Okay.
I got the fabric around 12 and then obviously I had commitment. So
yeah.
I got the fabric around 12:03 around there. I mean 12 and 3.
In the afternoon.
Then I just
That's
cut.
Monday.
That's Monday.
Okay.
Then I just cut everything that I could, and then in the morning when I came, bam, I was done. So I called him and he came for fitting. He was a good gentleman. Then he came through on time as well. He was there 1 o'clock sharp. Then
that's Tuesday now.
Yeah. The fitting was perfect.
No returns,
no returns. The fitting was perfect. He was happy. Then we delivered.
Wow, man. So just tell me now, you're talking delivered? You're doing deliveries as well?
Yeah. We do a call out as well because obviously people, it's not everybody that...
But you've got your own office?
Yeah. We've got our own office in Johannesburg.
You've got a warehouse in Joburg?
Yeah, we've got a warehouse and a consulting.
Give them the address.
It's 102 President Street in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
There our consulting hours obviously is from 8 to 5. But then due to
your after hours number,
our after hours, the number as well.
Yeah, put in and send yourself.
Alright, cool. This is my time now.
Please.
Alright, you can get a hold of me on 081 388 3352, and my WhatsApp number is 072 4848 333. Then you can get
Instagram,
Facebook. You can get me on Instagram at CJ Colorblind, and on Facebook as well. You can get me at CJ Ghost Colorblind. And you can also visit our page on Instagram, including Facebook as well. That's Ghost Designs -ZA. Ghost Design, one word, -ZA.
So most of the work is already there, so people can go in and check the pictures and stuff of what you have done.
Everything is there.
All right,
everything is there.
That is very nice.
We also got samples at work, so you're gonna see how the quality of our work is.
That is beautiful, my brother.
Yeah.
So now, one of the biggest concerns at Pit to Palace, which is what birthed the show, is to encourage a child on the streets, in the townships, because you and I are from the township.
Yeah, for sure.
So charity begins at home, like we always say.
Yeah.
So now we want these kids to look, well, they're already looking at you and saying, CJ has done this and that and that and that. Yeah. What's your word for that boy who sees you, who see your branded car and saying, but this guy, I know him? What's your word for them? How do you bring them up?
Basically what I will say, the first thing that you have to do, which is something that I struggle with, is I would say don't do it unless your heart is in it, because you're going to be looking for money. So in business it takes time to grow. It's more like a tree that bears fruit. So
of course.
You need to take your time with it. And the sad thing is nobody will understand what you're doing. You're the only one. So if you have your heart in it, it's going to help you to go a long way. So if you're doing something that you love, you have a heart in it, you will get further. And the other thing is always listen more and don't talk back, because you will miss the most important things when somebody is trying to tell you something.
Wow,
and
that's big. That's big. So listen more and talk less.
And talk less. Because it's very important. There's a lot to learn there. And you must always know that when you get to the top, just because you think you know, it doesn't mean that you are right.
Actually, they say the more you know, the less you realize that you know. Yes,
so just be careful with that. But it takes patience, it takes consistency. So the most important thing, that's why they always say dress up, show up.
Yeah.
The most important thing is consistency.
Consistency.
It doesn't matter how hard it gets, don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah, I like that. Don't give up. Giving up.
Snake card.
I remember when I used to hustle with you, help me sell t-shirts and caps. And sometimes we'll go until the wee hours of the morning. And yeah, I'm like, dog, I can't do this with you anymore. So just a few questions before we wrap up. Ghost Designs, CJ Colorblind, the two brands. We know that you said you are putting them into one, into the grandmother's name. Are we gonna see your designs on a catwalk anytime soon?
Oh,
what's your plan, bro?
Hey, who told you that?
I'm asking, man. It's
I don't want to jinx this, but there's a trip that is happening. I'm working on it. It's either I've got two actually. Got one in Brooklyn in the US that I'm working on. It's a fashion show.
Really?
Then I've got another one in LA. So I'm hoping with those two they come through. So I don't want to jinx it and say, hey, CJ said this and this.
Yeah. Or it's still,
all you can do is just pray for you. Pray for me. So I've got those two happening.
So when are these gigs expected to show up?
It will, for me, because obviously with the one in April, I need to get confirmation at least before Friday next week. And then for May as well, I think it's around the same time because you see, we need to start making clothes. Can't be showing the same things that I've shown in Brooklyn and LA.
Of course.
So I need to have a variety of clothes that I have. So we're busy working on it. With the lady, I won't mention names and the entity because maybe some people go there first.
Yeah. No.
I'm working on that. So cross fingers. Maybe I'll be back here with some Brooklyn and LA stuff.
So now that we are talking US, this is one of my last questions. Since we are talking US, just clarify this for me. Some people, they say that you copied Style Saga David Ferrer. Is that what it is?
No.
Not that we don't need one in Africa anyway.
I don't actually understand it. Okay, that I get because it's like a car, and a car has its own ethics of moving and going back and forth. A suit is a suit. With me, maybe
it inspires you though.
No, I like the guy. I like the way he grew towards his branding. The way he also had a little bit of a background and he collaborated with a lot of celebrities as well with his brand. So I actually like that. I got inspiration from him, but doing what he's doing exactly the same way, no, I doubt. That's not it.
Brother, thank you for your time, man. I know you are a busy man. And I appreciate that you took your time and come be with us. Pit to Palace is still the show. We're pushing a township business. We're pushing guys like you who've been hustling, who are still hustling. But at least their hustling has produced fruits, So, but we want to see more of you. This is just the beginning.
Of course.
We're obviously going to see it sooner, and then we'll probably talk about the US tour and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely,
Once it comes through.
It will come through. It will come through. Speak positive. It will come through. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. This is CJ presented to you. Just like I always say, subscribe to our show. Give us your comments. Give us a thumbs up down there on YouTube. And like I always say, together we can always grow. Thank you very much.